Story time. So when I was little, I want to say first grade, when I was in first grade, however old you are then, my family was so poor. Me, my mom, my stepdad, he was a heroin addict, like full-blown junkie. And her 4 kids. So 4 kids and those 2 bozos. We were living with his mom at one point, but then he started stealing from his mom so that he could get his drugs. So we had to move to a motel. Now, if you're from Paterson, New Jersey, you know what the Rainbow Motel was. I don't even have to say anything else. If you know, you know. Like the Rainbow Motel. So we're all living here. It was straight up like that movie Florida Project. Like when I saw that movie Florida Project, I fucking cried because it was so similar to my childhood, except way dirtier, like way more drugs, way more fighting and crime and drama. Literally the worst place I ever lived. So it's all of us, 6 people living in one motel room, on 2 beds, me and all my brothers sleeping in the same bed. And it was just fucking madness. Like, people want to hear like to talk about poverty. Let me tell you about poverty. We didn't have a fridge. Like, we had this little busted cooler, and like the ice, there was never ice, and we just never had food to eat. Like, we would go to this church and we would wait in line for a really long time for some like pantry stuff. I was literally like malnourished. And at one point, all we had, like, somebody had donated a bunch of baby food to us, and because my little brother was a baby at the time, and we were all eating the baby food. How could this happen, you ask? And I'm a parent now, so I ask too, because what the hell? Like, no matter how down bad I've ever been, like, my kids always have diapers, they always have food, we always have a place to stay. Like, there's just all of that ghetto. If you're poor and you're dealing with ghetto crazy nastiness and not even having a morsel of food for your children in America, that's your fault, to be honest. And anyways, yes, it was my parents' fault. My mom, she was just so worried about this man. All he was worried about was getting heroin. So any little thing we had, any kind of toy, anything that we bought from, like, you know, when we lived with my dad, and my dad would buy us like Christmas presents, or he would send stuff, my stepdad would sell it immediately. Like, as soon as he saw you with it, he wasn't even stealth with it. He'd be like, give that up right now. And he would go sell it. And my mom, not only did she support this, but she would also give stuff to him too. Like, there was one point where my brother won a bike in a school raffle. And we went to school the next day, came home, the bike was gone. And my mom's like, oh no, like, he just took it to the store real quick. He just took it to the store. So me and my brother are waiting by the window, waiting for him to come back. And we see him walking down the street without the bike. And he comes inside, he's like, oh, somebody stole it. Somebody stole it. Mind you, like, my mom definitely gave him the bike so that he could sell it, so that he could have his drugs. Like, there's something, I can make a whole video about her. We're not even going to get into her because mental illness. But anyways, so we're living in the motel. There's rats. It's crazy. Like, and there's this woman who starts to like come by, and we would see her around the motel a lot. And her name was Eleanor. And she was like this really kind of like, I don't know, like really skinny Puerto Rican woman, like always had jewelry, always smelled like cigarettes and like cheap perfume. And she saw me and she just fell in love. Like, she absolutely adored me. And all she wanted to do was just like hang out with me and spoil me. And my mom, she didn't do any of these things. Mind you, I'm a girl of 4 kids, so I'm the only girl. My mom, she didn't like nurture my femininity at all. Like, she wasn't even a good mother, like, to be like, period. Like, she didn't fulfill my basic needs, let alone like these kind of deeper spiritual needs for a little girl. So yeah, it was just so nice for like a woman. And also my mom didn't pay any attention to me. She was really only worried about that man. So it was so nice for like a woman to see me and like me and care about me and buy me stuff. And my mom, she was weird. Like, she would get jealous if other people would like give us attention. Like, she wouldn't give us attention, she wouldn't buy us stuff, but if other people were doing it for us, it would make her feel some type of way. So she would like let the lady like buy me stuff, but she always like had an attitude about it. And my stepdad, he also didn't like her either. One day she comes by, and she would call me her goddaughter. And I don't know, that was just so sweet. But one day she comes by and she's like holding a bag of stuff for me. And my mom and stepdad were arguing at the time, and they had the door open like for the breeze. So they're arguing, like everybody can hear them, and like me and my brothers were just like, whatever, another day, like typical shit, right? And she walks by, she has all this stuff, she's like, hey, she says hi to me. And then my stepdad curses her out. He's like, get the fuck out of here, da da da. And she's like, dang, she's like, I just wanted to give my goddaughter some stuff. And I was like, oh, and she left. And then I said to my stepdad, like, why would you do that? Like, why would you say that to her? And then he goes, she's a hooker. Like, I'm in like 1st grade, okay? So however old that is, 6. He's like, she's a hooker. She's a prostitute. Do you know what that is? That means she has sex for money. She fucks for money. Like, and proceeded to explicitly describe it to me, like what her profession is, like why she lives in that motel. And my mom obviously doesn't, she's like so far gone. Like she was just as inappropriate with me like all the time. So she was just like, yeah, yep, she is. And as a little kid, like, I don't know, that burst my bubble in a way. Like, not that I would have judged her, or not that I was judging her, it just felt weird. Like it was, I don't know, it was like disturbing for some reason. And it just made me feel really sad. I mean, not so much disturbing that she was a prostitute, but just being told, like being like how inappropriate that was for him to like. So it was hard to see her after that, and I kind of like didn't feel as connected to her. So every time I would see her, I don't know, it was just like kind of awkward, and I felt like guilty or weird or dirty or something. And it was just super conflicting and just so unnecessary. There were so many things in my childhood that were so messed up, like that. Just having to grow up too early, like my parents not having any kind of filter and just exposing every and anything to me. I mean, she was obviously a drug addict too, so it's like the fact that they were letting me hang out with a drug addict, you know, sex worker to begin with was crazy. She happened to be a really good person, and I honestly felt safe and probably was safe with her, but still. And then to like expose it to me and like tell me all this inappropriate stuff about her, it was just really sad, because I had this connection with this adult, which I didn't have. Like, that was like all I had in that moment, and they took that from me, which is like years later. I was like a teenager. We weren't living there. We only lived there for like a year and a half, which is like still fucking crazy. But years later, I was a teenager. I was hanging out with my friends. I was walking down the street, and I passed by the motel. It had a different name and everything, but I saw her, and she was older, and she was skinnier. She was like frail, and she just started crying. Like, she was sobbing and telling me how much she loved me, how much she misses me. And she took off her necklace, she took off her gold chain and put it on me. And I'm just really grateful for all the adults in my life, like besides my parents, who saw me and like cared about me, like teachers and stuff like that. Even people like Eleanor, who she didn't have her shit together, like she was going through tough times, and she still was capable of like being kind to a child and like making a child feel loved, and she had no obligation to do that. Anyways, my stepdad has Hep C now, and he's on his deathbed, so